Why do so many people seem to want Nintendo to be successful as a company, rooting for them?
I mean, honestly, I think it's because it reminds all of us gamers of a certain age of our childhoods. Also, they have a lot of great properties, that have never truly been handled extremely poorly, so people like the games. I think it's frustrating to constantly see Nintendo misstep in areas like their online presence and stuff like that, or how they, treat or handle certain situations. But it's almost like that gives you a reason to keep rooting for them. You keep hoping the next step they take is going to be a better step. But really, I just think it's a protective thing. I think people don't want to see what they remember so fondly. They don't want that to go poorly.
Well, plus they're the only true video game console company left.
Yeah, because I mean, Microsoft and Sony, video games are just a minor part of what they do.
Sony's a huge electronics conglomerate, and Microsoft's a software company first and foremost. So Nintendo is like the keeper of the faith. They are sort of the last guardian. Atari's dead and buried. Sega is a shell of its former self. What's left? Nintendo.
Yeah.
They're the ones carrying the torch. Besides being the ones that helped jumpstart the video game market again in North America and consoles, blah, blah, blah. But they're the ones that have kept it for 30 years. Like, they haven't... Yes, they've gone askew maybe to your liking, but they haven't gone out and like, we're going to do mobile phones now. We're gonna make TVs. We're gonna sell our IPs off and do shitty games that used to be. They haven't done that. They've kept it. They've kept it for the most part pure, I would say.
Sure.
In my estimation. Mm-hmm. Besides having the most viable to me, the most viable collection of first party games.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Versus Halo and a couple others, or Tomb Raider or whatever.
Nintendo is built almost entirely off of first parties, whereas the other companies are not.
And they're the only ones that's had a successful handheld in the past, 25 years, 30, almost 30 years. So that too is I think a part of it to me too. That they own. Remember, people always forget they own the handheld market, and will continue to own it. People are like, oh, mobile phones, yeah, but no,
not for dedicated gaming.
No. It always comes back to the software. So for those reasons, plus like you said, the nostalgia, all the big nostalgia for retro consoles is Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube. Those are the biggest ones, by far. I'm sure someday you're going to say, "Whoa, Pat the PS2 punk." In another 10 years or so, or 15 years, I don't think it's going to have the same juice to it. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the same sort of. Let's look at the memorable. 2,000 plus PS2 library. It's not quite the same ring to it as NES, Super Nintendo, N64. So those are the reasons why. Anything else? No. Okay. Okay. Let me backtrack real quick. I forgot to bring up this point. Forgot to bring this up. I think it's just as stranger, if not stranger, for people rooting against Nintendo or against Sony or Microsoft for their console to fail. Because what does that say? Why do you have a stake in them failing? And less competition is always worse. Mm-hmm. So let me splice that into there as well.